It felt yummy. So yeah, and so then it's just kind of, I just stopped. I wasn't really interested in trying to throw in more colors. So yeah, it's happened very naturally. Yeah, Gustav had one. So you guys are great. Thanks for questions.
I'm curious about the idea of time.
Oh.
And the reason why is because I'm relating it to like swim times and keeping your times up. And are there times of day that you swim and times of day that you make your art?
Oh.
And then I look at the art and I feel like I see like time as a piece. It's curious to me.
That is so interesting.
I just wondered if you are making that connection.
Wow, I've never thought of that, but yes, I do swim I always swim early. So when I swim on my swim team, with head coach Carol over here, I swim at 6 a.m. We start our practice at 6, and we go till 7:15. And then when I swim in the bay, I swim a little bit later, maybe 7, but still early, sun's coming up, depending on the time of year. And yeah, I'm interested how you see time. That's very, I think these shadows are reminiscent of like, what's it called? Sundial type of thing. Navigation maybe, yeah.
It's really kind of cool. And not only is it, you captured a sense of time, but at the same time, not to be, a sense of timelessness.
Oh.
And in that piece, especially when you talk about making your mark, you let them go, almost like children go out and play and become who you are, and they're dancing and they're moving, and it reminds me of that feeling of when you're calm and floating in the water, and you envision how the reflection of the water is, or how a piece of kilt might move, and
that's so great.
Kind of alive in its own way.
Yeah, I love that, the living quality of it, because that's a really neat thing about swimming in the bay, is that it's alive, right? You get in there and
you definitely get
and then you feel not as much at Albany Beach, but where I used to swim at His Lordship's, getting in there, you would really feel the current. Like you had to really pay attention to, is it ebbing or flooding? What's the tide doing? Because you would feel it push you, and you feel the wind sometimes with it or against it. And I love what you said about like your children, and you let them go off. Because I do when I harvest, I create all these paintings and these works, and I harvest out what I see as the most vital sections, the ones that have that integrity in the mark, right? And I do, when I was cleaning up for my studio, and as I'm putting my things away, and some don't make it into the flat files or to be saved, they get chucked in the recycling because they look too self-conscious or they don't seem to have the vitality that I want. But they're sort of like my little friends, and I'm like, they're like, I haven't seen you for a while. I've got to use you in a piece. I really like you, and then they kind of collide, and they find other people or other shapes and lines and gestures to relate to and to connect to. So I think a lot about connecting and how, because I don't know, think about that in my life too. Yes.
Sing one thing.
A reference to me singing in the locker room. I don't. I really don't. I think like my mother and great aunt, I probably hum to myself in a tuneless way. Just kind of like, it would be embarrassing if somebody walked by, but I really don't sing when I do listen to music though. I tend to listen to
They make you feel like singing, looking at your work.
Well, how dare it? We have some good singers here. So I should probably wrap, as that's probably more than time. Yes, Penny?
It's a simple question.
Okay.
What's the orientation of the canvas to your body? Do you move them around at all? Like you start one, you make a mark, do you then move it to see if it looks different in a different position, or?
Definitely. Yeah, I do. I move things around a lot. These ones are small, and I kept them, I knew what I wanted to have is up and what I wanted to have is down. But like those framed compositions there, I would certainly move layers or pieces around, right? So I would think, oh, maybe actually this is gonna look better this way, or then I might come back, I work on a few things at once, and I might come back and go, okay, you know, it's very precious at one point, and then you have to wait, I wait a few days and I come back and I'm ready to like, you know, like put some new energy into it. So I definitely, the bigger pieces, those are kind of heavy, they're on panel, and I only move them to make it accessible, to make it easy to work on, right? So some,
them on an easel?
they're on the floor, they're on the wall. I mean, I don't have an easel, I just with my drill onto some screws. Yeah, drywall screws. So we should probably close. Thank you so much for being here.